Sales! What is sales? Are real estate agents really doing sales? I describe sales as a conversation that leads to a sale. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, it's not for many real estate agents. I frequently coach agents that haven't learned the sales process yet, and some of them have been doing real estate for over a decade. In this video, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite objection handlers. This is one of the last steps in the sales process, but an important one. So stick around to the end and learn how to close more listings. If we've never met, my name is Nate Petrus, and I teach real estate agents how to sell more houses. When I started my career in real estate, I actually thought it would be a nice break from a sales career that had spanned over 2 decades. After all, real estate is about connecting buyers with available houses that meet their needs, and also about helping sellers effectively market their houses to as many buyers as possible. Clearly, there's a lot more to the job of a real estate agent, but these are the very basics. So, if I'm out showing a buyer a bunch of houses, I'm not trying to sell them on anything in particular, I just want them to find the perfect house for them. Now, if I'm good at my job, I'll ask all the right questions and figure out exactly what they want and need, and then look high and low for a house that matches that criteria. But I really don't care which house they buy. Likewise, when I'm marketing a house for a seller, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that their house looks as appealing as possible and gets exposed to as many buyers as possible. Occasionally, I'll meet somebody that wants to see one of my listings and is not working with another agent. In this case, I might call it sales, but regardless of how I found the buyer, I really do want them to find the best house for them, and it may not be my listing. So real estate really isn't sales, or is it? Let me answer that question with a short story. On my very first listing appointment, I was presenting to a friend of a friend. They had tried to sell their house themselves, but when that didn't work, they searched for a real estate agent, and a friend recommended me. Woohoo! Off to the races, and only a few weeks after getting my real estate license. Coincidentally, I had just finished the training that my brokerage provided on how to list houses. I arrived for the appointment and had the homeowner show me around their house. I sat down with them at the kitchen table, and I really think I impressed them with how I planned to market their house, and I also explained how I worked with the biggest and best brokerage in the area. I went through way too many comparable sales and active listings. I wanted to be as thorough as possible. When it was time to pull out the listing contract, I see them look at each other, and almost in unison, they say, "Thank you so much for coming out. We want to think about it. We have your business card and we'll call you." That was my light bulb moment. Wow, I guess a career in real estate really is sales. And if you know what to say, this is usually a pretty easy objection to handle. I'll tell you what I did, but first, what would you have done? Do you say, "Please, please, please, I need this sale. I promise to do a great job"? These things are things that I might have said if I didn't spend 2 decades learning about sales and doing sales at a high level. So here's what I did instead. I paused for a couple seconds, and then I handled their objection, and then closed them. They signed the listing contract, and I put a sign in their front yard. It took about 2 weeks to get the house under contract, and it sold about 30 days later, and they have been loyal clients and friends ever since. Are you ready to hear the objection handler that I used on this one? A word of caution with this objection handler. It only works if you're sure that they're both all in, but they probably took an oath before you got there not to sign anything while the agent was there. So here's the script. Write it down and keep it in your back pocket for the right time. Also, comment on this video once you use this script and let me know how it went. First, I look at Mrs. Smith and I say, "Mrs. Smith, if," and I'm speaking purely hypothetically now, "if you knew that Mr. Smith loved my presentation, he just knew that I would sell your house for more money, sell it quicker, and make it as easy as possible, and he wanted to hire me as your agent. Would you want to move forward?" And Mrs. Smith says, "Well, yes, I believe so." Then look at Mr. Smith. And I say, "Well, Mr. Smith, if you knew that Mrs. Smith loved my presentation, she knew that I would sell your house for more money, quicker, and make it as easy as possible, and she wanted to hire me as your agent, would you want to move forward? Then Mr. Smith says, well, sure, I believe so. Then I say, great, let's go ahead and get the paperwork out of the way, and I hand them a pen. It really can be that easy if you know what to say and why you're saying it. I dive much deeper in my course on how to list more houses. We go over everything you should say and why you're saying it during the listing presentation. I also give you all of my favorite objection handlers. This knowledge will help you close more listing appointments. There's a link in the description to my website where you can learn more. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy content like this, please take a second to like and subscribe. Now go sell something, and I'll see you in the next one.